Hey everybody, here for Lovin' Hip Hop Season 6, Episode 1. This episode was all sorts of ratchet, but I already know because they didn't even introduce Cardi B tonight. I already know when they introduce her, it's gonna be a wrap. But anyway, it wasn't really much that happened. They were just introducing some new people and reintroducing us to, Yandy, Amina, and Tara. So first off, Yandy, wait, did it start off with Yandy? No, it started off with Remy. So Remy was performing, and she's happy that she's back after being in jail for 6 years, 4 months, and 5 days, like she said. So she's performing, and then right after she gets off stage, she's conversing with Rashida, and Rashida is like, well, where's Pap? And she was like, he's walking around. He's around here somewhere. So Pap comes and he's like, yo, we gotta go. And she's like, okay. So they're leaving and he's like, yeah, I'm Papoose. I'm Remy Ma's husband, blah, blah, blah. Like, we already knew that. And he's like, see, Remy, she wants to live a free life, but she's still on parole. So she has a strict curfew that we have to follow every night. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it be when you on parole and they put you on that curfew and your curfew be like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever they set it to. So you got to be in the house at a certain time or, you get in some deep trouble. So from there I went to Yandy, and Yandy is like, her, Mendices, and the kids are cramped up in their apartment, and they want to work on getting a house. But Mendices is like, well, I signed a plea deal, so if I sign a plea deal, I could be gone for a while, and I don't want to leave you with the house and all of those responsibilities. And she's like, well, why are you talking about this and blah, blah, blah. He said, because it's the reality of the situation. I don't want to get you a house. I don't want to leave you with a bunch of responsibilities that you don't need, because regardless, I might end up going away. So Yandy is just like, I just wish that this situation wasn't happening to us because this is not what life is supposed to be like. I'm supposed to lay with my husband every night. He's supposed to be here for his kids. It's not supposed to be, a court case hanging over our heads, a sentencing. So I'm like, Yandy, I mean, I know you had your fairy tale wedding. You want to have your fairy tale happily ever after, but it's real life. Mendices is going to jail, and Mendices was actually sentenced last week. So, it's like, Yandy, you have to get out that fairy tale and realize it's not a fairy tale. Like, this is real life. So, who did we meet? I think we met Young B first. And, Young B is, the girl, chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. Yeah. And, she's talking about her career and how everything was at a standstill after chicken noodle soup. So, Yandy wants to be her manager, and Yandy's like, well, if you want to get back hot again, you have to rebrand yourself. Because this is like 9 years later, and, a lot has changed. So you have to rebrand yourself and get some new things going for yourself. So she's like, yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to you being my manager. So Yandy brings up DJ Self's I think it's called Gwenin Cypher. Then it went to DJ Self. He introduced himself. He's Prince of New York. He's a DJ out here. I don't listen to radio like that, so I just know of DJ Self through hearsay. But I don't really listen to, if I do listen to the radio, I do listen to Power 105. But usually I listen to the Breakfast Club. I don't really listen to the radio like that because the radio, like the DJs on the radio stations, they play the same 5 songs. Like, I remember one time I actually did listen to the radio and I heard Hotline Bling and back to back, like, 5 times. And I'm like, these are not the only 2 songs that, that was ever made. So he's a hot DJ out here in New York, and he had Mariah Lynn in the station. Say hi. You're a mess. So he had her in the station, and Mariah Lynn was introducing her song. And I forgot what the song was called, but basically in the song she was saying that she was a hoe back then and she's not gonna lie about it, she's gonna admit it. And I'm like, okay. But Mariah Lynn in her confessional, she was doing too much. Nyla, in her confessional, she was doing too much. Like, okay, you're a rapper, you come from the gutter, you come from this, that, and the third, but simmer down in your confessionals. You don't have to try so hard to be down. Like a lot of these people who come on these shows, they come on here bigging themselves up way more than they are. Humble thy gums, in the words of Ashley Miller, and relax, because we can tell when you putting on a facade in your confessionals. So Rashida was like, we get to Rashida and she's like, seeing Remy on the stage inspired me to get into the music business, but not as a artist, more like a manager. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I mean, I don't really know Rashida's background, but last time I checked, she was always known as the stiletto expert of Love and Hip Hop New York. So, whatever. So, she's saying that she's managing this new girl group called BBOD, Bad Bitches on Deck. And then Mo Money and Sexy Lexi get on the camera to my son, yeah, I'm Mo Money and I'm Sexy Lexi and we're bad bitches on deck. We've, long before Love and Hip Hop, we've been out, scraping and scratching, getting our hustle on, grinding. We've been out for 5 years and da-da-da. And I'm like, I can tell already they're gonna annoy me, especially Mo. They're gonna annoy me. And so many people had so many jokes and so many memes on BBOD, and I was just like, yo, I died. I've been laughing at memes. I'm still laughing at memes. I'm like, people, I hate the internet. But yeah, so Rashida is telling them about the Gwen and Cypher, and she's telling them that Young B is going to be a part of it, and Mo was like, oh, that bitch, me and her got beef. So Rashida's like, well, what's the beef between y'all? She's like, nah, 5 years ago, me and her got into a fight, and she got a club from a car, and hit me with it. And she said in her confessional, I went to the hospital. I had to get some stitches. But now every time I see that bitch, it's a fight. And I'm like, you can't just take that L. Like, I mean, she beat you up once. You ain't learned from the first time when you ended up in the hospital. You ain't just end up in the hospital. You ain't just get a little bit of stitches. You got 15 stitches, bro. You might want to leave that alone. Take that L and leave it alone. Because you trying to get revenge on her 5 years later, that's old beef. Nobody cares anymore. I'm like, geez. So, Peter and Tara, we get to them, and they're in the bed together. Mind you, Tara claims she just moved into Peter and Amina's building. They're in the bed together. The damn bed is on the floor. She ain't got no mattress, no bed spring, no nothing. So she's like, yeah, I know. Me ended up in the bed with Peter. It's the last thing I thought would ever happen. But he helped me move in. And we had champagne. Next thing you know, we ended up in the bed. Now, mind you, him and Tara are talking. And Peter's basically like, well, you ain't seeing anybody. You ain't been with nobody. So if you moved on for me, then you would have really moved on. You still want me and da-da-da-da. So he left. And this Negro goes down the hall to his apartment with Amina. I'm like, what kind of Brandy and Monica? And not long after I thought that, somebody made a meme with Brandy and Monica and The Boy Is Mine. I'm like, I'm saying, like, the people really think this is a game? Like, so you got your side wife and your baby mama living on the same floor, in the same building, so that you could creep from one house to the next. So then when he goes in the house with Amina is like, well, where have you been? You don't come home. You don't call me and let me know where you are. And she's like, I feel like you're still sleeping with Tara. And he, basically lying to her. So she's like, I thought that, Tara moving in the building, he would be around me more. But no, he's never home still. And I have a feeling that him and Tara are still sleeping together. I'm like, well, you might want to go with that intuition you got, Amina. Like, first of all, ain't no real wife going to allow all this stuff that Peter is doing to you. They not going to allow that. So you need to... Amina is very naive in the mind, like very. And it's like, it's so annoying because I'm like, she be knowing what's up, but she want to be in denial. But I'm just like, whatever. So, we finally get to the Gwen and Cypher. BBOD gets up there and they do a diss track basically to Young B. It was corny. Mariah Lynn gets up there. Nobody really even cared that she was rapping. And then Young B gets up there and she rips all of them a new asshole. Like, she went in on BBOD. And I was like, wow. So then her and Mo have a confrontation. And you know, Young B is like, she must not have learned from when I busted in her head 5 years ago. Maybe I need to refresh her memory. So I'm like, Lord, these girls, Nyla, my goodness. So I'm like, these two, and then Mariah Lynn is like, I know. She said something like, and I'm just like, girl, shut up. Nobody even cared that you was on the stage. Everybody got hyped when Young B was up there. Ain't nobody care about BBOD, and ain't nobody care about Mariah Lynn. So, anyway, what else is happening? So Remy and Papoose have a conversation, and Remy says she feels like, you know, she's been a prisoner all of 6 years. She doesn't want to be a prisoner, you know, now that she's out. She wants to live. And, you know, Papoose is like, well, when you go to jail, it doesn't only affect you, it affects everyone in the family. And I understand that you don't want to be confined, but you have to be realistic. This is what's going on. We need to get back to work, and we need to stop playing games. You have to stay on top of your like your stuff with prison, with parole and whatnot. So then on their 1 year anniversary, he said it's a 1 year anniversary of her being out of jail. He got her a present. It was 2 baby dolls in it and a happy anniversary card. So Remy was basically like, well, since you want babies, you know, he has 3 kids, I have 1. Since you want, they don't have babies together. So she was like, well, since you want babies, then you have to compromise and give me my dream wedding. And then she was like, they got married in jail. It wasn't what she really wanted to do, but she was willing to do it because she wanted him to be her husband. So he was like, okay. So he took her to this place called, I forgot what it was called. It was somewhere out in New York. It was a castle, beautiful big castle, and the inside was flawless, the outside was flawless, and he said that he had already rented the space for the wedding. And I'm like, wow. See, Papoose and Remy and Yandy and Mendeecees are the main reason why I'm watching this season of Love and Hip Hop, because they are the epitome of love and hip hop. So, speaking of Yandy and Mendeecees went and met up with his lawyer, and his lawyer basically told him that he could be facing anywhere from 5 to 20 years in jail for drug trafficking. So, you know, Yandy is crying, and she's like, I don't understand how life is supposed to work. So if you go to jail for 20 years, the next time you see Amir, he's going to be 23. And he's like, well, this is what it is. You know, you knew I had this sentencing hanging over my head. So I just want you to be strong, and I need you to be my wife, and I need you to just be down with me while all of this is going on. And I mean, I know it's hard on Yandy, but Yandy stuck, you know, she held him down that whole year he was in prison. So, I mean, who knows? He might not even have to do the whole 8 years. He might just do, you know, 6 years, 5 years. You know, he might get out for good behavior. Who knows? So, you know, it basically ended on that note. And then we saw, like, what's going to happen the rest of the season. So it looked like it'll be a good season. Everybody was wishing that Cardi B was on this episode. But I knew they was going to save her for last, because Cardi B is a hot, ratchet mess from what the commercials tell. But, you know, it was a pretty good first episode of this season for what it was. And that was basically it. But like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later. Thanks for watching.